Hi. I typically do these videos close to new moons and full moons, but we had the quarter moon yesterday. The quarter moon being if we have a full moon and we have a new moon on January the 5th, then the quarter moon falls between it. And I thought, let me just jump in and do this. It's 2 days before 2019 starts. The new moon on January the 5th is a solar eclipse, a partial solar eclipse. That video is going to be a lot more involved and a lot more interesting in terms of the new energies that'll be discussed. So I thought, let me just jump in and talk briefly about the energy of the time. Between a full moon and a new moon, the energy subsides, especially as you are getting towards the last few days before that new moon on January the 5th. And the message for the next week could very well be wrap things up. Now, wrapping things up could mean if there are actions that need to be taken to close out things, do it. And sometimes closing out things means lining up what's next as well. I'm gonna leave that there because there's a lot because I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people are feeling, even though the energy of the time, it being the holiday season, doesn't lend itself to that. It could be that there's an urge to be productive, there's an urge to move. It's almost as if like we're waiting for the next few days to be over so that we can get moving. The time between now and early March, March the 6th, March the 7th, I would say January and February are ripe for moving forward and seeing us move forward, almost hurtle forward in a way that we haven't for most of 2018 with all the retrograde planets and all that kind of stuff. The second thing is that since the middle of November, we really are seeing the start of new energies. And after January the 5th, it is a new agenda. It is a new menu that is going to be put in front of all of us. And I will talk more about that as I do the video for the January 5th new moon solar eclipse. January sees new moon solar eclipse on January the 5th. It sees a full moon lunar eclipse on January the 21st. So January takes what has been building since November the 15th and propels us forward. I've always said when it comes to forward movement, we long for it, and yet at the same time, that part of us that loves inertia or loves the status quo doesn't fully appreciate it. It's like, human beings are designed to be not content with anything. So when when it's not time for forward movement, we're frustrated because we feel like we aren't going anywhere. And when it's time for forward movement, everything that entails frustrates us. We're in a constant state of frustration. But if you want things to move forward, January and February are a great time to just kind of get that going. And the rest of the week, now, before you get to January the 5th, so it's likely that as you head towards that time, there is a kind of, you do have to just kind of close things out and wrap things up. And by all means be in action, but by the time you get to past New Year's Day, and especially as you get to January 3rd, January 4th, you may just find that the energy to do things is not, you need to wait for the 5th to get the next, to feel like, all right, we're really going. All right, we're next. So use the next few days to really actively, if you need to rest and restore, then do that. But if you have things you need to do that are preparing you, let's say, it's kind of a metaphor. I'll use packing as a metaphor. Let's say after January 4th, 5th, you're going to be off on a new journey. And it is a new direction. Guys, it's new. Whatever's coming after January 5th is new. So it's almost like, it's like you're packing for a journey. And so if you think of whatever actions you need to take as sort of preparing for a trip, it's not a bad metaphor. Do you have enough money for the trip? Do you have what you need for the trip? Have you made all the arrangements to make sure that you can move forward? Use the rest of the week to do some of that. On January the 1st, Mars enters the sign of Aries, and certainly, talk about forward movement. The conversations will become more authentic. There'll be less beating about the bush. energy, energy, energy. If anything, the only challenge with Mars and Aries is that it can make us pretty directional, pretty direction based. But boy, if someone gets in our way, there could be hell to pay, that kind of energy. So the energy can also be very driven, but kind of combative, kind of, don't get in my way. I know what I want. Don't try and hold me down. Or if there's an argument or a discussion, part of the challenge, part of being authentic then involves being comfortable, really being clear about the disagreements. And either we agree to disagree and find a way to work with it, or we break apart. This is all a way of saying, starting January the 1st, even starting now, the energy of forward movement is here and with us, and that the January 5th new moon is going to inaugurate new energies. The January 5th new moon heading towards March the 5th is going to be its own, and new directions are on us. So use the rest of the week to restore, to wrap things up, to almost feel like you are packing for a journey, and to take that energy. You could say, well, why are you saying this? Today is the 30th, and there's only a few days, but that's about a week. So it's really, use this as a guiding post for the rest of the week, mentally, emotionally, financially, materially. And as you head towards January the 2nd and the 3rd, because I'm not going to do the new moon video until after the new moon solar eclipse on the 5th. So use those 48 hours before that time to rest, restore, and be kind to yourself. If you feel depressed, if you feel really low, if things feel hopeless, remember, right before a new moon, things will flatline. Okay, I will leave you with that, and I can't wait to talk to you about the eclipses after January the 5th. For another 24 hours till the end of December the 31st, my readings are discounted. So if you make a purchase, you can, I'm going to have my email address below this. So inquire if you want to know what the rates are, because they vary based on region, in order to remain competitive. And if you make a purchase, the reading you need to have the reading by February the 15th. And because this is coming so late, if you're just like, hey, what if I make a purchase by January 2nd or something like that, as long as you let me know in the next 24 plus hours, at least I'll know what to expect, and we can take it from there. Okay. Awesome. Till January the 5th. Happy New Year.